Hi, everyone. Have you ever thought about where the animals live? We live in houses and apartments. We live in cities and in the country. But where do all the animals live? Well, let's check it out. A habitat is where an animal lives. So, just like I live in a house or an apartment, animals live in a habitat. We're going to look at a few different habitats and see what animals live there. The first habitat is the ocean. Animals live in the ocean. The ocean is full of water. It's very, very wet. Lots and lots of water in the ocean. And on the ocean floor, you might find some animals too. What kind of animals do you think we could find in the ocean? Hmm, let's see. In the ocean, I might see a shark, I might see a whale, or even a dolphin. Sea turtles live in the ocean, and so does a seahorse. And of course, if you go to the ocean, you're going to see lots and lots of fish because fish live in the ocean. That is their habitat. Our next habitat is called the savanna or grassland. And you can see there's a lot of grass, there's not a lot of trees, it's kind of dry, but there are some pockets of water so that the animals that live there will have water. What kind of animals do you think live in the savanna or grassland? Let's see. Ooh, elephants live in the savanna. You might see a lion there, or even a giraffe. A zebra lives in the savanna, and rhinoceros live in the savanna. If you're visiting the savanna, you could even see a hippopotamus. That is where they live. That is their habitat. Our next habitat is jungle or rainforest. In the jungle or the rainforest, it's very wet. You will see lots of green trees and vines and lots of plants. And it is lots and lots of rain in the rainforest. What animals do you think live in the jungle or the rainforest? Let's see. Hmm, that's where you would find a monkey. And pandas live in the jungle, a macaw bird, and even a crocodile. Tigers live in the jungle, and so does a sloth. And don't forget frogs. Frogs live in the jungle or the rainforest. Our next habitat is the forest or woodland. The forest also has trees, but it's not quite as wet as the jungle. So there's lots more space for wood and streams and great big trees in the forest or the woodland. What animals do you think live here? Let's see. A skunk lives in the forest. A raccoon might live in the forest. You could see an owl in one of those great big trees. Bears live in the forest. And deer live in the forest. You could even find a fox or a squirrel. And sometimes a beaver lives in the forest. That is their home or their habitat. Our next habitat is the desert. The desert is very dry. You won't find very much water in the desert, but you'll still find some animals that live there. What animals do you think live in the desert? Hmm, a tortoise lives in the desert. Eagles live in the desert. Camels are from the desert. In the desert, you might see a bighorn sheep or a coyote or even a snake. The desert is their habitat or their home. Next, the Arctic. The Arctic is very, very cold. Look at all that snow and ice. The animals that live there are a seal. You could see a seal in the Arctic. Reindeer. Reindeer live in the Arctic. Polar bears live in the Arctic. And penguins are right at home in the Arctic. An Arctic wolf, you might see there, and a walrus comes from the Arctic. The Arctic is their home or their habitat. Okay, now let's think. Have you ever visited a farm? What animals are at home on the farm? Let's see. On the farm, you might see a cow or a horse, a duck or a pig. You might see a cat or a dog, and lambs or sheep sometimes are right at home in their habitat on the farm. All right, now here's some things to think about when you think about animal habitats and animals in their homes. Where does my favorite animal snuggle up to sleep at night? Do they snuggle up in the Arctic snow? Or maybe in the warm, warm desert? Maybe they sleep in a tree in the jungle like a monkey. Or maybe in the barn on the farm like a horse. Things to think about. Where does my favorite animal play with their friends? Does my favorite animal play in the ocean like a fish? Or maybe in the forest like a deer? Where does my favorite animal play with their friends? And our last question, do you think your favorite animal has chores to do in their habitat or home? Do you think their parents make them clean their room? I don't know. It's where they live, so maybe. Things to think about when you think about animal habitats and all of the animals that live in different places. All right, everyone. Thanks for talking with me about habitats, where the animals live. And now it's time for you to go out and explore, read different books, look at different pictures, look at some videos, and learn all about the different habitats or homes where different animals might live. Great job, everyone.